Hey guys, this is Jacob from RoboFlow, here today to show you a tutorial on how to use Microsoft Vot to label images for computer vision. Microsoft Vot is a great tool to quickly and efficiently label your images before training, and today we're going to go through a few steps on how to use it. The first step is how to install Microsoft Vot. Then we'll show you how to load in images via a local connection into Microsoft Vot. Then we'll show you how to make annotations and use some of the shortcuts that are available for image annotation in Microsoft Vot. And then we're going to export our dataset. And after export, I'll show you how to convert your dataset into any format so you can use it with any of your models in any destination that you are desiring to take your dataset. So now, diving in. In order to install Microsoft Vot, there are a few options. First of all, you can log onto the website and use it completely on their web server. But the disadvantage there is that you will be unable to load in images via your local file system. Instead, you'll have to have your images in an Azure cloud bucket. So if you're already in Azure and you're already in the Microsoft ecosystem, it makes sense to just use their web interface annotation tool. Now, if you don't have your data on Microsoft Azure, like most of us, and you have it on a local file store, you'll want to download Microsoft Vot on local and install it on your local computer. In order to do this, Vot does not make it extremely straightforward, but you can go ahead and find the installs here on their GitHub repo. So here is Microsoft Vot repo, and I'll post this link below in the video. But here you can see, if you look at the latest releases, there are a few downloads here. You can download it for Windows here with the .exe, for Linux with the .snap, or for your Mac with the .dmg. And so I went ahead and downloaded this. And I've installed it on my computer already. I'm running on a Mac. So I've already installed the Vot file, and go ahead and launch the application, and then you're into the Vot platform on your local computer where you can use your local file store. So once you have Vot installed and you've found a place to use it, you can go ahead and load your images into Microsoft Vot. So in order to do that, first we need to start a new project. So projects are Vot's way of organizing data and kind of getting you thinking about the way that you want to organize the way you're organizing your labeling jobs. So in order to start a project here, I'll go ahead and just call this one Vot Tutorial. And you can generate a new security token. That's an advanced feature for keeping your data secure if you want to. And then the next thing is to add a connection. So this seems like a little bit over the top, but if you're connecting into an Azure Cloud bucket, that's what you do, but we just want to use our local file drive. So we'll go ahead in here and say connection for our connection name, and we can select the provider. So if you use the website, you're only going to see Azure Blob Storage or Bing Image Search, but we're going to want to use local file system. Once you select local file system, you can select the folder where your data is. So this kind of assumes you've already collected the data that you want to use in your project, but we do have some advice on that. You want to narrow a domain down to something that's going to be easy enough for your model to actually model. You don't want it to just kind of be a very general field, but once you've kind of picked the data set, now you can go ahead and load it in here for labeling. So here we go. I've got basically some daisies and some dandelions here in my train folder. So I'll go ahead and choose this folder to load in. We'll just go ahead and load in the daisies for now. And there we go. That links the local file storage system, and that should load up into Microsoft Vot. So now we've we've made this new connection. But now we actually need to select it. So we'll select connection here. And then for target connection, this is where the data is going to be exported to after you've labeled inside of Microsoft Vot. So here I'm just going to put it back into the same folder so I kind of know everything's in the same spot. But you could imagine some time where you might have a base folder, but you want to be exporting into separate folders out of Microsoft Vot. So that's our target connection is selected there. We're not using video, but you can annotate video in Microsoft Vot. And we'll add tags here. So I'm just going to be annotating daisies. So I'll just have one tag Daisy, but you'll have a tag there for every single object in your data set. After that, you can go ahead and save project, and you'll see that your data is loading into the platform here. I'm going to pick one of these images where there's a few daisies, and we can kind of go through and experience a little bit what it's like to use the UI inside of Vot. So Vot is primarily designed for object detection labeling, which is what we're going to be doing today. This is where you're just drawing a bounding box around the object that you want your model to be detecting. So here I'm going to draw a bounding box. You can just simply click and drag, and then you've highlighted the object of interest there. And after you've highlighted the object, you want to label it. So we put one tag in here, which was Daisy, which I don't believe it showed up, but I'll go ahead and add it in here. And after you've selected the box, you can use the number keys. I'm just going to start over on this one. You can use the number keys to assign the class label to the box that you've drawn. So there you go. You can see that it selected Daisy. But let's say we maybe had a few other classes here. I'll go ahead and add another one. Let's just say we had dandelions in here. And we also wanted to label those. Those will show up with red boxes. So after we've drawn the box and we can move it around there and we label it, we can label it as dandelions. So as you can see here, you can kind of be going through quickly and annotating different objects in your data set and acquiring object detection data at a very fast rate compared to other labeling tools. And you can do this quickly, just dragging and dropping and hitting the number keys to be labeling your class labels. So now you can imagine we've gone through our data set and we've done a lot of labels. The nice thing that Vot does for you is over here on the left, it will show you which ones you've looked at, and it will show you which ones you've actually labeled, so you can kind of have a sense for how much you've passed through your data set and how much you've done. But once you're done labeling, you can you're going to want to do something with your data, and so that's where export comes in. So another important thing to do as you're working through is to actually save your progress. You can lose that, and if you lose a lot of labeling work, that can be quite frustrating. But the export button is up here, and before we export, we actually want to go over here to the left and choose our export settings. Actually, that's this little arrow here. So export settings, you can export to a few different formats here. I am going to show you how to do more after in a minute, but you could choose TensorFlow TF records. You could do the Pascal Vot format or the Vot JSON, which is kind of their internal format. We'll just do Vot JSON for now. That's kind of the most basic vanilla format to be exporting your data from. And we'll do only visited assets. So, you know, I saw a few of those and then I labeled one, but it will only export the ones that we've actually visited. So that's kind of nice, but you could also choose to do the whole data set or just a few. And you can also choose to include your images in the export, or maybe you just want the annotation file itself, but we'll include the images here. So then you save export settings and you go ahead and go up here and you click export. So now we have exported successfully. We've taken our data into Microsoft Vot, we've labeled it, and then we've exported it out of Microsoft Vot. Now I'm going to show you how to use RoboFloat to convert Microsoft Vot into any format for any destination that you might be wanting to take your data after you've labeled it in Vot. So this is just one example of an annotation conversion, but it is a pretty easy tool. In order to do it, you just log into RoboFlow, and if you don't have an account yet, you can go ahead and create one. You'll also see here that I already have a few data sets of my own up, but I'll go ahead and create data set. This one will be called just Vot tutorial, and selecting object detection, and here we'll just call it the annotation group flowers, since we've annotated flowers in Microsoft Vot. So now we'll go ahead and create that data set, and in order to ingest the files that we've gotten from Vot, we'll go ahead and navigate here to the folder where we told it to export, which was Daisy, and you'll see here that there are the original images, but then it's also on top of that, it's exported the Vot JSON export, where we told it to export the images and the annotations. So that's the thing that we want. We'll go ahead and drag that in. Here you can see it loaded in a few images, including the one that I labeled. And after that, you can go ahead and click Finish Upload, and we'll only have a few images here, so we'll just put them all in the training set. But yeah, now your data's here, and after you've labeled it, now you can do a bunch of fancy things on top of labeling, where you can use augmentation, you can use pre-processing, and you can export to any destination. So here, I just have a simple resize to 416 on, and I'm going to auto-orient just to make sure my images are oriented in the correct direction. Now you go ahead and click Generate. We'll just call this V1. And we'll go ahead and move through here. We'll send the images to the back end and create a dataset version. So this is something you can do to be creating dataset versions, so you can spend less time labeling dataset after dataset after dataset, and more time kind of honing in using more of an automatic approach, so you can spend less time labeling and more time building the best model possible after you've exited Vot. So now you can see here that it's asking me what format I want to export to. So here's all the things that you can go to. You can use various YOLO formats: YOLO Darknet, YOLO Keras, YOLO PyTorch. You can also go to TensorFlow TF records. You can go to Coco JSON, CreateML, kind of really any destination you're going to need to go in computer vision. This will get you there if the original Vot export didn't already get you there. So there we have it. That's kind of a full tour of using Microsoft Vot for dataset annotation, and then using RoboFlow for conversion to any destination. So this has been a quick tutorial on how to use Microsoft Vot effectively. We hope you enjoyed. Again, there'll be some links of a corresponding blog post and how to install Vot below, but go ahead and like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.